Being kind is not the problem. The problem begins when your time becomes expected instead of respected. You reply too fast. You adjust too easily. You make space for people who never make space for you. And slowly your presence stops feeling valuable. It becomes available. Like a golden door that never stays locked. Like a red key placed in everyone else's hand. Respect does not disappear because you care. It disappears when access to you has no weight. There is a quiet pattern behind losing respect. It does not begin with someone insulting you. It begins when they learn you are always reachable. Always flexible. Always ready to pause your own life for their convenience. At first they may appreciate it. Then they expect it. Then they barely notice it. Your time becomes cheap. Your silence becomes strange. Your delayed reply becomes offensive. And your boundaries start looking like betrayal. Not because you did something wrong. Because you trained people to expect unlimited access. Think of a simple scene. Someone messages you late at night. It is not urgent. You are tired. But you reply anyway. Then they do it again. And again. Soon, they stop asking if it is a good time. They assume your attention can be taken without cost. This is not respect. This is access without appreciation. The dangerous part is that it feels noble. You tell yourself you are being kind. You tell yourself you are being helpful. You tell yourself this is how good people behave. But kindness has direction. Over. Availability has none. Kindness is chosen. Over. Availability is automatic. Kindness has dignity. Over availability often comes from fear. Fear of disappointing people. Fear of being misunderstood. It is dependence on your availability. And dependence is not the same as value. Most people lose value because they confuse being useful with being respected. They think if they are always helpful, people will honor them more. Sometimes, yes. But in many situations, the opposite can happen. What is always available often becomes mentally smaller. What has no limit often receives less care. Modern scarcity research suggests that when something appears less available, people may see it as more desirable or valuable. This does not mean you should play games. It does not mean you should pretend to be busy. It means people often respond differently to what feels limited, protected, and intentional. Your time works the same way. If your time is always open, people may stop seeing the cost behind it. They do not see the sleep you lost. They do not see the work you delayed. They do not see the mental space you gave away. They only see that you were available again. And when your availability becomes predictable, your effort becomes invisible, they become warmer. They explain their loyalty through constant presence. But over-giving rarely restores respect. It often teaches the same lesson more deeply. That you can be stretched. That you can be interrupted. That your plans are negotiable. That your attention has no gate. But here is the cold truth. People do not value access because you suffer to provide it. They value access when it is connected to standards. When it has timing. You do not become respected by being unreachable. You become respected when your availability has structure. Machiavelli understood a brutal principle. Uncontrolled giving can drain the very power that made giving possible. In chapter 16 of The Prince, his warning about liberality is not simply about money. It is about reputation. It is about resources. It is about the danger of giving so much that you become weaker, poorer, or easier to despise. In strategic terms, your time is also a resource. Your attention is a resource. Your emotional energy is a resource. Your presence is a resource. If you spend these without control, you may look generous, then you look expected. Then you look like someone who has no gate around their own life. This is the Machiavellian Reframe. The issue is not whether you should care. The issue is whether your care is governed. A person with no control over their access becomes readable. People learn the hours you will sacrifice. They learn the pressure you cannot tolerate. They learn how easily your plans can be moved. They learn that your yeses comes before your own needs. They may not even intend to use you. But they begin to place you lower. Because you placed your own time lower first. This is where strategy begins. not in cruelty, not in silence for performance, not in acting superior. Strategy begins when you stop giving access automatically. You decide when to respond. You decide what deserves your attention. You decide which requests are real and which are only convenient for someone else. You decide whether your presence is being respected. A locked door is not an insult. A locked door means there is something valuable inside. And the red key should not be lying in everyone else's reach. The power shift is simple. Make your access intentional. Not dramatic. Not rude. Not cold. Intentional. First, stop rewarding every interruption with immediate attention. When a message arrives, pause. Ask yourself one thing. Is this urgent? If it is only loud, it does not need instant access to you. You can respond later calmly. Clearly, without guilt. Second, stop saying yes before checking your own capacity. A weak yes creates resentment. A calm no protects respect. You do not need a long speech. You can say, you can say, that time does not work for me. You can say, I will get back to you when I can. Short lines protect dignity. Long apologies often invite negotiation. Third, separate kindness from availability. You can be kind and still unavailable. You can care and still rest. You can support someone and still refuse to become their emergency exit for. They think boundaries make them harsh. But boundaries only reveal whether your kindness has a spine. Fourth, create response windows. Do not let every notification become a command. Your phone is not a throne people sit on. It is a tool. If you are working, work. If you are resting, rest. If you are with someone, be there. Your attention becomes stronger when it stops being scattered. Fifth, let people adjust. Some people will be surprised when you become less available. That does not mean you are wrong. Their surprise is not your failure. It is evidence that the pattern is changing. The goal is not to become hard to reach. The goal is to become worth reaching properly. Now apply this in real life. First, the workplace or social group. The wrong response is being the person who always stays late. Always covers tasks. Always fixes small problems. And always says, no worries. Even when there are worries. Even when you are tired. Even when nobody would do. The strategic response is calm structure. You still help when it is reasonable. But you stop making your own time invisible. You say, I can help with this tomorrow. You say, I have capacity for one part. Not all of it. You say, I need more notice next time. No anger, no performance, no speech. You are not begging for respect. You are showing people how access works. Second, relationships and friendships. The wrong response is always being emotionally open, always available, always ready to listen. Even when the connection is. But when they need comfort, you become available instantly. This creates quiet resentment. And resentment makes your kindness feel heavy. The strategic response is not punishment. It is balance. You can say, I want to be present. But I do not have the energy tonight. You can say, let us talk tomorrow when I can give proper attention. That is not cruelty. That is clean access. Real connection does not require you to abandon your own center. If someone only respects you when you are endlessly available, they do not respect you. They depend on your lack of boundaries. Third, online and message conversation. A message arrives. You feel the pull, you reply instantly. Then another message comes. Then another. Now your focus is gone. Your mood is changed. Read when you choose. Reply when you are clear. Do not turn every conversation into an open door. A delayed reply is not disrespect. A thoughtful reply is often stronger than a rushed one. And if someone becomes offended because you are not instantly available, observe that. Not with anger. They are upset because your boundary interrupted their convenience. That is an important difference. In all three situations, the rule is the same. Do not remove your kindness, remove the automatic access. Do not become cruel, become measured. Do not disappear, become intentional. Because when your presence has standards, they ask with more awareness. They stop assuming the door is always open. The final shift is not about making people chase you. That is childish. The real shift is becoming someone who does not leak access out of fear. You stop confusing instant availability with loyalty. You stop treating every request like a command. You stop giving your best energy to people who only value convenience. And you begin to protect your time without needing permission. This is the identity shift. You are not less kind. You are less careless with your presence. You are not becoming cold. You are becoming governed. You are not trying to look important. You are refusing to make your life permanently open to anyone who knocks. The golden door stays calm. The red key stays protected. And people learn that access to you is not automatic. It is earned through respect. That is how you rebuild value without manipulation. Not by acting distant, not by punishing anyone, but by making your availability match your self-respect. If you want the next layer, watch the next video on how calm distance changes the way people approach you. Because once you stop being too available, the next challenge is simple.